जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Reading from Canto 1, Chapter 11, text number 19. vāramukhyāś śataśo yānais tad-darśanotsukāḥ lasat-kuṇḍala-nirbhāta kapola-vadana-śriyaḥ vāramukhyāś śataśo yānaiḥ 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 tad-darśanotsukāḥ lasat-kuṇḍala-nirbhāta kapola-vadana-śriyaḥ Vāramukhyāś, well-known prostitutes. Cha and Satasya, hundreds of. Yaina, Yānais, by vehicles. Tad-darśana, for meeting him, Lord Shri Kṛṣṇa. Utsukāḥ, very much anxious. Lasat, hanging. Kuṇḍala, earrings. Nirbhāta, dazzling. Kapola, forehead. Vadana, face. Śriyaḥ, beauty. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. At the same time, many hundreds of well-known prostitutes began to proceed on various vehicles. They were all very eager to meet the Lord, and their beautiful faces were decorated with dazzling earrings, which enhanced the beauty of their foreheads. Purport. We may not even hate the prostitutes if they are devotees of the Lord. Even today, there are many prostitutes in great cities of India who are sincere devotees of the Lord. By tricks of chance, one may be obliged to adopt a profession which is not very adorable in society, but that does not hamper in executing devotional service to the Lord. Devotional service to the Lord is uncheckable in all circumstances. It is understood herewith that even in those days, about 5,000 years ago, there were prostitutes in a city like Dvārakā, where Lord Kṛṣṇa resided. This means that prostitutes are necessary citizens for the proper upkeep of society. The government opens wine shops for this, but this does not mean that the government encourages the drinking of wine. The idea is that there is a class of men who will drink at any cost, and it has been experienced that prohibition in great cities encourage illicit smuggling of wine. Similarly, men who are not satisfied at home require such concessions, and if there is no prostitute, then such low men will indulge others into prostitution. It is better that prostitutes be available in the marketplace so that the sanctity of society can be maintained. It is better to maintain a class of prostitutes than to encourage prostitutes within society. The real reformation is to enlighten all people to become devotees of the Lord, and that will check all kinds of deteriorating factors of life. Sri Bilvamangal Thakur, a great acharya of the Vishnu Swami Vaishnava sect, in his householder life was overly attached to a prostitute who happened to be a devotee of the Lord. One night when the Thakur came to Chintamani's house, in torrents of rains and thunder, Chintamani was astonished to see how the Thakur could come on the dreadful night after crossing a foaming river which was full of waves. She said to Thakur Bilvamangal that his attraction for the flesh and bone of an insignificant woman like her would be properly utilized if it could be diverted to the devotional service of the Lord to achieve attraction for the transcendental beauty of the Lord. It was a momentous hour for the Thakur, and he took a turn towards spiritual realization by the words of a prostitute. Later on, the Thakur accepted the prostitute as his spiritual master, and in several pages of his literary works, he has glorified the name of Chintamani, who showed him the right path. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.32, the Lord says, O son of Pritha, Even the low-born chandalas and those who are born in a family of unbelievers, and even the prostitutes shall attain perfection of life if they take shelter of unalloyed devotional service to me. Because in the path of devotional service, there is no impediments due to degraded birth and occupation. The path is open for everyone who agrees to follow it. It appears that the prostitutes at Dvārakā, who were so eager to meet the Lord, were all his unalloyed devotees, and thus they were all on the path of salvation according to the above version of the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, the only reformation that is required in society is to make an organized effort to turn the citizens into devotees of the Lord, and thus all good qualities of denizens of heaven will overtake them in their own way. On the other hand, those who are non-devotees have no good qualification whatsoever. However, they may be materially advanced. The difference is that the devotees of the Lord are on the path of liberation, whereas the non-devotees are on the path of further entanglement in material bondage. The criteria of advancement of civilization is whether the people are educated and advanced on the path of salvation. Jai Śrīla Prabhupada. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापकमलपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सगना रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनीति नाम्ने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुसे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Thank you very much, dear devotees, for giving me an opportunity to purify myself. Please bless me that I speak in parampara and speak something that is pleasing to all the devotees. And if I speak beyond my realization, please forgive me. This is a very, very difficult verse for me. When I was contemplating on this, it was very difficult, because I like to speak from my experience and I have no experience of this. So it was very difficult to, talk about this. But, when I was going through the purport of Srila Prabhupada, it gave me such nice realization. And I mean, not gave me realization, I saw such nice realizations from Srila Prabhupada that we can understand the shloka so nicely. So I was just trying to visualize this whole scene, and I was trying to see how can I visualize like Lord Kṛṣṇa coming to Dvārakā and all the devotees coming to meet him. So it was beyond my realization. So the closest that I could think of is, during Rath Yatra that happens, when Lord Jagannath comes out of the temple, Actually, he's in Vrindavan. The Lord Jagannath temple is Vrindavan, and he's going towards, sorry, Lord Jagannath temple is Dvāraka, and he's going towards Vrindavan. And but the occasion and the spirit of the devotees is the same. So I was trying to visualize that so many lakhs and lakhs of devotees come uninvited. There is no billboard saying that Jagannath Rath Yatra happening, please come. And so many devotees come with various offerings, the way we heard in this chapter, Dvāraka. So many devotees are coming, and they may be, some may be merchants, some may be vegetable vendors, some may be, farmer. Everybody is bringing gifts based on their occupation. So similarly, over here also, when you go to visit, during Rath Yatra, if you go and see, lakhs and lakhs of devotees are coming by I don't know which kind of a force, magnetic force is there. And that force was so overwhelming for the Britishers that they could not understand what is this overwhelming force by which suddenly one day lakhs and lakhs of devotees are coming, and next day the whole street is empty. So that word, they called it as Juggernaut. Okay, if you read the English meaning of Juggernaut, it's the overwhelming force. So it is named after Lord Jagannath, this Juggernaut. That there is some force which is attracting all the devotees on that day, and suddenly they are, disappearing. So this is, we can visualize the way Rath Yatra happens. Something similar might be happening, while Krishna is entering Dvāraka. Thousands of devotees, hundreds of devotees are performing various arts when Lord Jagannath is coming out. If you would have seen the Pahandi Vijay Darshan, they call it, where Lord Jagannath is carried out in a procession from the temple to the chariot. And some devotees are performing acrobats, some devotees are performing their dances, and some devotees are, with kartal and thal, they are playing loud, musical instruments they are playing and inviting the Lord. Similar thing might be happening when Lord Kṛṣṇa might be entering Dvāraka. And it is very amazing to see. And when Lord Jagannath comes out, and this was my personal, when first time when I went over there, when you see Lord Jagannath coming out, you will feel that he's just reciprocating with you. With his eyes so big, everyone feels that Lord Jagannath is just talking to you. And that time, there were some devotees who were going through, very bad health. So we were offering our prayers to Lord Jagannath when Lord Jagannath was coming out. And Lord Jagannath was swaying like this, as if, he says, reciprocating with us, saying that, yes, I'm hearing all your prayers. Don't worry, don't worry. And so many instances, so many times, whenever I went, Lord Jagannath performs so many pastimes that you will be amazed. At least I was amazed. To my experiences so far by Krishna's mercy has been so overwhelming when we go to Jagannath Puri during the Rath Yatra specifically, that once I actually wanted my parents also to feel that experience. And I was telling them, lakhs of devotees are coming. Even the demigods come to take darshan of Lord Jagannath when he comes out on the chariot. But it was not convincing enough. When you tell your parents, "Acha, theek hai, hota hoga aisa." They were like that. And we were sitting on the terrace, taking darshan of Lord Jagannath. So imagine, same thing was happening here also when Krishna was entering Dvāraka. The females were sitting on the terrace and taking darshan of Lord Kṛṣṇa. Similarly, we were also taking darshan of Lord Jagannath from the terrace, and it was scorching heat. It was very hot over at that time, and their fire brigades were spraying water on everybody to make them cool. And suddenly Lord Jagannath came, and there was tumultuous roars of devotees playing kartal and all those things and chanting, and everything was going on. And we were looking at him, and suddenly when Lord Jagannath climbed the Rath, from nowhere, honestly I'm saying, from nowhere, I heard loud burst of clouds, okay, and crackling noise, just as if it was the clouds crackled in front of our ears. And it started pouring so heavily just after Lord Jagannath climbed the chariot. And once he climbed the chariot, it rained so heavily, and after that, 5 minutes it rained and went away. So that experience really proved that Indradev came and took darshan of Lord Jagannath. And that actually experience showed my, look, at least I feel that it was a good experience for my parents to believe that even the demigods come to take darshan of Lord when the Lord is traveling. So similar experience was happening when, when Lord Kṛṣṇa was entering Dvārakā. And something related to the verse. So first time when I was going to Jagannath Puri, we visited many places, and we reached Jagannath Puri late in the night, like around 12 o'clock. And we took a taxi from Bhubaneswar to Puri. And everybody, we had few devotees with us, and everybody slept, and I was awake with the taxi driver trying to talk with him so that he doesn't fall asleep. And so I was telling him, and this was my first time, so I was asking him a lot of questions. I thought, he may know because he's Dhamvasi. And he was saying, "Oh, Lord Jagannath, I come here every year to take darshan of Lord Jagannath." I said, "Yeah, really?" He said, "Yes." And then I told him, "You've gone inside the temple also? How is it?" He said, No, I have not gone inside the temple." I said, "Why?" He said, "I'm a Muslim by birth. Okay, so I can't go inside the temple. But Rath Yatra, I come every year." And I said, "You are a Muslim and you come here every year. How is that? I mean, Muslim." And he made one profound statement. Over there, no, everyone makes one profound statement. And we are just like, I was just looking at him. And I said, "How come you, worship Jagannath? You're a Muslim." बोलता है, "ये जगन्नाथ जगत के नाथ है ना, हिंदू और मुस्लिम के नाथ नहीं, ऐसे नहीं है ना, हिंदू के नाथ है, मुस्लिम के नाथ, ये जगत के नाथ है." And I was just looking at him, "Oh yeah, jagat ke naate." So this is the kind of devotees that will come to see Lord Jagannath. And here we also seeing the similar kind of, prostitutes coming. So we should not judge actually who's coming to take darshan. They are all devotees of the Lord. Even during the Pandi darshan that happens, Pandi Vijay darshan, this service is given to Shabaras. They are tribal men, actually. They are the descendants of Daityapati who actually took care of Nil Madhav in the forest. So they are those kind of men who are living in tribal. And when they pick up, they have the sole responsibility of taking care of Lord Jagannath during these 10 days. So they come and pick up Lord Jagannath on their shoulders. And during the Pandi Vijay darshan that happens, very beautiful. Now, Rath Yatra will happen soon in June, July time frame, I think. And June? Yeah. So we should all see that darshan, very, very auspicious darshan. And you will see that Lord is swaying back and forth. Lord is swaying and going right, left, every. And once His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj asked the Panda, chief among the Pandas, saying that, "How do you all balance? Lord is so heavy. You are 10, 15 guys, some at the back, some at the front, and you should have a coordinated effort to, make Jagannath move up like front and back. How do you all balance?" So that Panda said, "All of us try very hard to make Jagannath steady. He's only moving back and forth." So actually Lord Jagannath is so intoxicated, he comes as an intoxicated. How does an intoxicated man, move? Like drunkard man will always sway. Like that, he's intoxicated, wanting to meet his devotees, intoxicated by the love of his devotees. So these Pandas are actually, not like Brahmanical culture and not like, topmost, but they are the pure devotees of the Lord. And sometimes they perform such spontaneous worship of the Lord that it may not fit our, so-called culture of devotional service. But these are all great devotees of the Lord. So once Ramanujarya also tried to correct them. Ramanujarya went over there and he found that this spontaneous worship is not written in any Shastras. And Ramanujarya is Rama Anuj, Lakshmanji, Balramji is coming and, correcting them. So all the Pandavas are very humble. They said, "Oh, Ramanujarya is telling us we will perform what he is saying." And they started performing the way Ramanujarya taught them. And then Lord Jagannath came in Ramanujacharya's dreams and he was scolding Ramanujacharya. I like the way these devotees worship me. You don't interfere over here. And he threw his bed from Jagannath Puri back to Andhra Pradesh. So when Ramanujacharya actually got up, he was in front of Varadev, temple in Andhra Pradesh. And then Ramanujacharya started performing deity worship over there. So the idea is, we should not judge who is coming, who is worshipping, especially in Jagannath Puri. You will find a lot of pandas, eating some intoxicates like gutka or something like pan masala or something like that. We should not judge, oh, ye, main to devotee hu, ye, aisa sab karta hai. No, they are pure devotees of the Lord. They are tribal men, they are descendants of the tribal men, but still they are very, very dear to the Lord. So this is similar kind of thing in this shloka. So when I read this shloka for the first time, the first thought that, even before reading the purport, when I read the translation, I said, prostitutes? What is there in my mind, that will come out. Is Prabhuji was explaining, right? Gigo effort, garbage in, garbage out. Because garbage is there in my mind, I was thinking, why prostitutes in Dvārakā, that too in the holy place of Dvārakā, and coming to meet the Lord. But when you read Srila Prabhupada's purport, so very beautiful. This purport is so beautiful, explains a lot of things. The intent of this purport is not to describe the people who are there. The intent of this purport is to describe the inclusivity of bhakti. Everyone is included in bhakti. It is not just the Brahman class. Every class of devotees are included in bhakti. In 9th chapter, 32nd shloka, Srila Prabhupada also mentions Papa Yono. The Papa Yono Striya, which are lower birth Striya, or Vaishya Tatha Shudra, means those who are Vaishyas. These are all considered lower class of men. Shudra also. They can also attain the Param Gatim. They can also become, reach their highest destination. That is the, effect of bhakti. So first is we should not underestimate the devotees who are performing the Lord's worship. Second is we should not underestimate the power of bhakti and association of pure devotees. Like we hear examples, so many examples actually in Srimad Bhagavatam about prostitutes themselves. I was amazed, so much mention of prostitutes. There are so many examples of prostitutes given in various scriptures. And the power of association can make even a prostitute become a pure devotee. We know about, Haridas Thakur. He was gaining a lot of fame because of his chanting, and Ramchandra Khan was very envious. He was not able to tolerate this. So what did he do? He sent a prostitute to Haridas Thakur, thinking that the prostitute would allure Haridas Thakur, and we will do some video shooting and then send it through WhatsApp. See, this is what Haridas Thakur is. So his intention was like that. He sent the prostitute to defame Haridas Thakur. And she came. Actually, it is described that she was Maya Devi herself who came. So she was so beautiful. And she knew everything that a man would want to enchant a man. And when she went, and she said, I want to enjoy with you. Srila Haridas Thakur said, yes. Don't worry. Sit over here. I have some rounds to complete. I have taken a vow to complete certain rounds. Once I complete my rounds, I will surely enjoy with you. And that way, one night passed away and she was not able to enjoy, and Haridas Thakur was chanting very sincerely. And then he said, sorry, I could not satisfy you tonight. You come tomorrow and then I will satisfy you. And again she came the second night, she was not able to, and Haridas Thakur was chanting. The third night came. And she started getting the taste of chanting, of hearing the chanting of Srila Haridas Thakur. And full night she was chanting with Haridas Thakur. Third morning she was like, become total devotee. She was initiated by Haridas Thakur as a saint, and she took up and she, took a vow. I mean, she all her propensities of prostitution were given up, and she became a saint. So that is an association of pure devotees. So it is said, right, every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. So, and His Grace Kanai Thakur Prabhu was also explaining us that every sinner could be a devotee in the making. And Lord Kṛṣṇa knows that he will become a devotee. And if we if we commit offenses against the devotee in making, Lord Kṛṣṇa takes it very seriously. So we should not actually commit any offenses against anyone. So now, going back to the shloka, one may still have some questions. Why prostitutes are required? That too 5,000 years back. Sometimes, at least I felt this prostitution is like this Kali Yuga kind of episode, and it's more prevalent in this age of Kali, where people have unfulfilled desires. No, actually, Krishna gives that answer in Bhagavad Gita. Where Arjuna in 3rd chapter 36 shloka, Arjuna is asking Lord Kṛṣṇa that what is it that is forcing a person to behave sinfully as if it is forced upon him. Though he does not want to do that, still it is forced upon him as if he wants to, though he doesn't want to do, he knows it's sinful, but he is forced to do it. And Lord Kṛṣṇa gives that answer in 37th shloka. Kamesha krodesha rajoguna samudbhava. It is only lust followed by wrath that is all devouring enemy of this world. So this lust is always there in us, whether we are in Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga. I don't know about Satyug, but in these 3 yugas, lust is already there, and there needs to be a provision. And sometimes people are their lust, they have uncontrolled desire for sex, and if they are let loose, they will go and rape innocent people. So there should be some provision for them to enjoy. And this lust, actually how this lust develops, it's not like a one lifetime activity. It is millions of lifetimes that we have wanting to enjoy, and it comes in the form of impressions in our mind. And in our mind, there are 5 things, Shabda, and then Rupa, Gandha. These are some things that will create impressions in your mind. And when you see something beautiful, when you see something that you want to enjoy, immediately you want to try that out. Then that, propensity develops to enjoy. And then vritti develops. Then that repetition task you want to perform, and that becomes habit. It becomes your second nature. That is why it is said that you are forced to act. Though you know it is sinful, you are forced to act. Like a person may know that, liquor or, cigarette smoking is harmful for his life, but he is forced to act. That becomes his second nature. So just to take care of that second nature, there needs to be a provision created in society. Like in earlier Vedic times, when somebody wants to eat meat, people used to eat meat even in that time, but it was not available freely in the market as what it was available right now. They were asked to go outside the village, offer the meat to Mother Kali, offer some prayers, eat, and then come back. Don't pollute the city. Similarly, if you want to enjoy, there used to be a designated place. It never used to be freely available. Even now, sometimes you will find in some cities, big cities, old cities, you will find some red light area where you can go and perform that act. It is a separate area outside the city premise. So those were the provisions given. And Srila Prabhupada explains it very beautifully. Just like liquor being available at a liquor shop doesn't mean government is, encouraging that. It just means that some people will drink liquor. Like a few days back, we were discussing, and Kanai Thakur, in Mayapur, I think, we were discussing, and Kanai Thakur Prabhu was saying that, the heat is so much over here that the people who are staying, who are farming over here, they drink rice soaked in chas the previous night. And then in the morning, they eat that so that it cools them. And some other devotees were commenting that if you let it ferment for few more days, then it becomes liquor. So the people who are going to take liquor will take liquor, and sometimes in an unauthorized way, they will take some country liquor and get sick and die also. So rather than that, give provisions to take liquor. So this kind of society is required at that point in time also to take care of certain people who are very much indulged. But the next question may come that how are these prostitutes devotees of the Lord? And I have lots to cover, so I'll go very quickly. So one may think that these, we are breaking the one regulative principle of our life, that is illicit sex, and still they are being considered as devotees. So this paradigm is very difficult for us to understand in this social era that we are in. In fact, it is also mentioned in scriptures, and in Bhagavatam also some places there are mentions that the prostitutes were very well respected. They were part of the society, and they used to come whenever there used to be some yagya or some festival. They used to come and dance. And Chaitanya Charan Prabhu gives a lot of example. I call him a dictionary for ISKCON. He gives very beautiful meanings which we would have never heard. And he says that prostitutes also mean that who are not taken care by husbands, which means that they may be generally roaming around without a husband. That is also a prostitute. They may be indulging in some illicit affair, but it may not be that they may always be engaging in that illicit affair. So in our scriptures, various stories are written about prostitutes, and they are pure devotees of the Lord. I was not aware, and Kanai Thakur Prabhu had told me this, like Kubja. Kubja was like a society girl, but because she was ugly and had a hunchback, she was not performing that act when she was just putting chandan on everybody. She was just doing that. The moment she became beautiful by the touch of Lord Kṛṣṇa, she was actually a society girl. It is mentioned by Srila Prabhupada mentions in the Purport that she was a society girl, and she had a lusty desire to enjoy with Kṛṣṇa. And she had requested Kṛṣṇa to come, and Lord Kṛṣṇa had promised. Because she was trained only in that profession, she does not know how to worship Lord Kṛṣṇa. So she wanted to worship Lord Kṛṣṇa in her profession. And in Bhagavad Gita, we have heard, right? In the second chapter, third chapter, we have heard that we should dovetail our profession in Krishna's service. So that was her profession, and she wanted to dovetail her profession in Krishna's service. She had that lusty way to enjoy with Krishna, because that is the way she wants to worship Krishna. And Krishna says, for that also I will liberate that person. So when she called Krishna and Uddhava came to her home, just by touch of Krishna, all her lusty desires were vanquished. So Krishna knows how to balance between lust and bhakti. So even if you have lusty desires, Krishna will take care of it and make sure your lusty desires are removed and bhakti is given to you. Right? And there is a story of chaste wife with prostitute, that the husband was always meditating on a prostitute, and the wife was thinking, oh, my husband wants to enjoy the prostitute and he doesn't have money to enjoy. Let me go and do some menial service at the prostitute. So she used to perform some menial services, and the prostitute asked, why are you doing that? He said, my husband wants to enjoy with you and he doesn't have money, so he can't. So the prostitute said, okay, you bring him in the night, send him in the night. So the prostitute actually made nice elaborate dinner for him and served him in two pots, one in golden and one in iron. And then he said, eat from both the pots and let me know whether it tastes different. And the person ate and said, no, it's the same food that you have prepared. One is in gold and one is in iron. It tastes the same. She said, exactly, it tastes the same. Then why you are looking for me? Your wife is there. You go and enjoy with her. Why? I may be a golden pot, but it's just the outer covering. That enjoyment is the same. So these were the kind of prostitutes in Vedic times. They used to actually give instructions to their clients also. Like we hear the example of Bilva Mangal Thakur. He was so much desperate to enjoy with her that in spite of roaring river, rainfall, the door was closed, he climbed the wall and he actually took support of a snake. He didn't care whether it's snake or a creeper. He just climbed and went to enjoy. And when Chintamani said, your desperation, if you would have dovetailed it towards Krishna, you would have become a great devotee. And that instruction, he took it to the heart. He did not say, first let me enjoy. Kal taake karta hu na. He didn't say that. Immediately he left. So that is the hearing that Bilva Mangal Thakur gave. And this is the hearing that we should also have. Sometimes we hear a lot, but we don't implement it. Srila Prabhupada said that if you are not hearing, if you are not implementing, then you are not hearing. So very important that at least we try to implement in our capacity whatever we hear, otherwise we are not hearing. So this context of prostitutes being devotee is very difficult for us to comprehend because this is not available in our era. In fact, in our era, we always look down upon prostitutes because of the way they act. And, Hari Shauri Prabhu once told Srila Prabhupada that, when I was in the womb of my mother, my grandmother wanted to abort me. And my mother denied, and hence I was born. And Srila Prabhupada said, how pathetic the situation is. In India, this would have not been even heard at that point in time. But now, freely abortion. And Srila Prabhupada said that, the American culture is going towards prostitution just for sex. People want to enjoy and then forget about the consequence of it. So I was hearing one lecture and one devotee said that, a very big counselor in US who counsels young girls, she was having a talk show and one of the lady asked her that, I'm in a physical relationship with somebody, but he's not ready to marry me. What should I do? And that counselor was from a very spiritual background. And she said, how much do you charge for it? And she was taken aback. What do you mean by charge for it? So what it means is that if you are in a physical relationship and if you are out of wedlock, then it is prostitution. So she was taken aback by this, counselor talking about all this. And His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj says that so many, he gives a lot of statistics that our culture, actually this Varnashram culture is to prohibit, to restrain sexual drive. And in US, you would see this culture is completely destroyed. And you would see teens in the age of 15 to 19, they are the 40% of the teens, 40% means out of 10 people, 4 girls. Out of 10 girls, 4 girls become pregnant in the teenage. And this leads a very devastating effect on the child who's born out of it. And one may not be able to, think about it. They may think, oh, he's born nicely, he's taking care of it. But it has a very drastic effect. In fact, there's a book written, It Didn't Begin With You, which says that the trauma that you are going in life did not begin with you. It is the trauma given by your ancestors. Ancestors means your parents who have gone through such kind of, illicit behavior. That trauma gets passed on to the child when he's being born. So the reason I'm bringing this is this culture was not very evident. In fact, when I was in Infosys, I was working and we had a system called as Samaritans, Hail Counselor, we called it. And I was being trained as a counselor over there to do a first line help to people who are going through a lot of issues in their personal life. I thought that will be a great way to, bring them into Krishna consciousness. So I was getting trained, but somehow I didn't practice over there because of one incident that I saw. And we were going through a lot of these case studies, and one of the case study was, an Infoscian who's well educated, an engineering graduate. Okay, it's not like somebody who's staying in a red light area, who's underprivileged, who doesn't have any other way of earning money. She came to the counselor and said, I'm pregnant. So the counselor said, yes, okay, good. So what is the problem? She said, I don't know who's the father. And said, okay, so what do you want to? So she's asking the counselor, what should I do? Should I abort or should I keep? So that incident made me feel, no, boss, let me be outside this. I will not be able to deal with this kind of a situation. The meaning, the thing is, sometimes this prostitution, we take it as lusty behavior. But if you go deeper into some of the people, they get into this prostitution not just because of lust, but because of very low self-esteem. Their self-esteem is so low that they need external validation to feel good about themselves. This external validation could be in various ways. Sometimes in devotee circles also, right? We need a lot of external validation. We need appreciation. That is external validation. So we do services and then we wait. Prabhuji, kaisa tha? I don't know. Prabhuji. So this kind of mentality, right? Always looking for appreciation from devotees. If you perform something and no one appreciates you, then Krishna consciousness is not good. If somebody appreciates you, oh, kitna acha hai Krishna consciousness, it's like heaven. So we are always looking for this external validation, and this external validation in the grossest form comes as, physical relationship. Because they need that external validation to prove themselves, prove their self-worth. Oh, people need me. People want me. And that's why they get into this indulgence. So it is said, this prostitution does not only mean engaging in physical relationship. There is prostitution at the mind level also. Okay. And at least I engage in this prostitution of mind, where we are always looking for appreciation. Hey, merko de. We are doing some activities to get fame. Arey, if I do this, I'll become famous in this. If I do this, they will glorify me. They will clap. They will do this. So this is prostitution at the level of mind. And we can see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we can see various examples where this was discouraged. Raghunath Das Goswami, very rich person, but when he went to, I'll just take few minutes, okay, it's almost time. And when he went to Jagannath Puri, he took severe austerity. He used to, beg alms in front of Simhadwar. And he used to just, whatever alms people were giving, he used to take alms from that and buy food and eat. And then he left that. Why did he leave that? Because he felt as if he is a prostitute. He was looking at people coming. Oh, he's a rich man. Will he give me alms? Oh, he looks like a devotee. He'll surely give me alms. So this is the kind of prostitution that was going on in his mind, that, always looking. What does a prostitute do? She's always looking for a good customer. Oh, he'll engage me in good sense. He'll satisfy my senses. Oh, he'll pay me well. So this is prostitution at the engagement of mind. Srila Prabhupada says prostitution happens at 3 levels. Tongue, belly and genitals. Our tongue is always wanting to eat something new. Arey, aaj ye khaya, don't repeat that sabji, Prabhu. Last Sunday ye hua tha. Fir se Sunday program mein ye repeat mat karna. Always wanting to eat new things. What does the prostitute want? New customer every day. Want to enjoy my senses. The prostitution happens at the level of tongue. Then the prostitution happens at the level of belly and at genitals. So they are all in the one line, and Srila Prabhupada says that one who is able to control the tongue by eating prasadam, he'll be able to control the prostitution of the belly and the genitals. So these are the 3 levels, and I'm cutting short, these things, prostitutions. So how to conquer this mentality of prostitution? And in the 3rd chapter again, Krishna gives the solution also. Krishna says this calm stays at 3 different places. Okay, if you have an enemy and if you don't know where it stays, it's very difficult to conquer the enemy. But if you know that the enemy is Pakistan mein hai, Bangladesh mein hai, ki idhar hai, you know where to protect your borders. So Krishna says there are three places that this calm stays. One is at the senses, mind, and intelligence. So if you control your senses, and Krishna says the weakest enemy is senses. The mind and intelligence are very subtle and very difficult to conquer. At least control the weakest enemy is the gross senses. And if we are able to control our gross senses and engage them in Krishna's service, all our senses we can engage them in Krishna's service, we can actually control this calm. So this is what Krishna says, and I think I have overshot. So there was a very beautiful story of Ramanujacharya and his disciple, his disciple was constantly looking at a prostitute, so many incidents. And Ramanujacharya said, it's very disgraceful looking at prostitute when the procession is going of the deities. So he said, I don't know, I can't take out my eyes from that prostitute. And then Ramanujacharya took him to the deities of Lord Ranganath. And when he saw Lord Ranganath, entire lusty behavior went away. So the idea is that if you engage your senses, your calm is gone off. So one prayer we can actually pray, since Lord Nrsimha Chaturdashi just went, we could pray this from the 5th canto, 18th chapter, 8th shloka. You all can recite after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Narsimhaya Namaste Jaste Jase Avir Bhava Vajranakha Vajradamstra Karmashayan Randaya Tamo Grasa Om Swaha Tamosho Grasa Om Swaha Abhayam Atmani Bhushtiyan Om Shram. So what this prayer say, I offer my respectful obeisances on to Lord Nrsimha, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possesses nails and teeth just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demon-like desires for a fruitive activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance, so that by your mercy, we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much. Sincere apologies for extending beyond my time limit. Thank you so much.